friends, it's Amy at Doki Forest, and today is Tuesday. That means it's also hashtag Trash Trash Tuesday. This is a super fun open collab hosted by Just Journaling with Possum Patty, where each week you take some items from around the house that maybe would have been destined for the trash or recycle bin, and you repurpose them and give them a new life, maybe in your journal, make a page out of them, or create anything you want from them. And I will have all the info down below. You can either click on the hashtag and see what everyone else is up to, or you can go visit Possum Patty and see what cool stuff she is doing. Now this here is a ninja spy kit that my younger son got years ago from a Scholastic book order at school. And as you can see, it came with a manual and some fun little bits and pieces, but since then, the items inside are long gone, and this box has just been sitting around, or it's really more like a case. So this case has been sitting around. And he took it out of his room. He's like, I don't need this anymore. And I said, okay. And I was thinking, well, it's kind of cute. It's got some potential. It's a little case, and, maybe I could repurpose it and turn it into something else. So that's when it happened. I knew I was going to put it aside to use it, but what was I going to do with this? Well, first things first, let's get into our magic transformation of turning this box, this bright red ninja spy box, into something a little more foresty, a little more doki foresty. And of course, you probably guessed, the first step was the gesso. I had to put 2 coats on, and you can still see the design pretty well. And then this is me deciding to do some nice scrape paint effects, and that's thanks to Janet Nash. She was scraping paint on her live stream one Monday, and I was doing this along with her. So while she was scraping paint on paper and making these fabulous rainbow papers that were just beautiful, I decided to try to go with maybe a little spring vibe and do some scraping paint of my own. And I will link Janet Nash down below, but I'm pretty sure you know her. And then for the next part of our transformation, I will be adding some napkin paper. And this was some lovely napkin paper I received in some Happy Mail from Care at My Take at the Lake, also known as the Krabby Crafter, LOL. So thank you, Care. I am using these. I thought they would go with my spring theme very well. So I am just putting those on, and I think I'm using Mod Podge there. It's been a while, but it looks like I'm using Mod Podge. So yeah, the idea for this was, let's do something foresty, maybe like some fairies or some flowers. I didn't actually wind up doing any fairies, but I was just sort of going for a spring sort of thing. And speaking of napkins, I received some really generous Happy Mail from Birdie, the recycled hippie chick, who sent me a huge padded envelope chock full of napkins. Really pretty. Thank you so much, Birdie. I will link her down below. Definitely check her out. She's always up to something super cool, junk journaling, making all kinds of things. And what happened was I had mentioned in Janet's live that I didn't have any napkins because one of the prompts was pulled and it was napkin. And usually I just wind up taking like a brown napkin I got at like a coffee shop, and I just paint on it because I don't actually really have any decorative napkins except for some of the kids' napkins that are from birthday parties, like old birthday parties. So it's like, Super Mario and video games and Pokemon, stuff like that. So Birdie generously offered to send me some of her napkins, and she packed them up and sent them off, and they arrived and they were fabulous. They're just so many different colors and textures and themes, and you'll see those at the end. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I wanted to share them with you, and I realized as I was working on this case that this case seemed like the right size and shape for storing my new napkin collection in. Now that I have quite a few, I wanted to keep them someplace where I could easily find them. So that's what I'm intending for this case, is to store them and make sure they don't get ripped. And now I know exactly where to go if the prompt for napkin comes up, or if I just feel like playing with one in my journaling. So as I'm building up the layers on my case and transforming it, I realized that I wanted to also have some illustrations, some watercolor characters on there. So I am using some of my characters that I had that I was using for another project, but I wound up not using them there. And then I'm creating some new ones here. So I've got my little dragon character, and now I'm drawing some little mushrooms just hanging out in the forest. I absolutely love drawing mushrooms, and I can't wait to start finding mushrooms again on my walks. They've gone away for the winter, and then I haven't seen any yet in the spring, but they should be popping up now that we've had a few warm days. We've had some rain. You know, I'm starting to see some flowers bloom, some more critters out and about. So my next thing is I'm really hoping to see a mushroom or two. And then I was going back and forth with both this handle and the clasp. Well, the clasp I was going to keep on there actually, but the handle, I wasn't sure if I was going to take it off or not. And I knew I didn't like the black because it was just so plasticky. I mean, it was plastic. So I decided I wanted to color or paint all of this. And then I just liked how it looked, so I just kept going with a little bit of a little blue, a little green, and just trying to make it look messy and weathered and old, you know, as if somebody had wandered into the forest with this case and lost it at some point, and then it just kind of sat there for a while and aged, and maybe some things started to grow on it. It had been on a whole traveling adventure, and then someone discovered it and said, "Ooh, what is this?" It's like a treasure. And of course, the other thing is that the red color on the box was just so stubborn, it just kept poking through. I kept seeing it. So you can see it there, like the paint would flake and I'd see a hint of red. And I really didn't want any red. Like, I love red, but not for this particular project. And now I decided I would also add a little something to the edges. And I have these painted book pages that are just the right colors for what I'm working on here. So I figured between that and then I'll add a little tissue again just to make it look textured and weathered. And I have that red inside, and at this point I wasn't planning on painting it. I figured it would be okay because, you know, you would see it when you opened it, but I figured, you know, I'd have my napkins in there and maybe I would just leave it the way it was. But do you think I left it? You'll have to see. And more napkins because I decided I wanted some flowers all around it. So I'm going back and forth between the painted book pages, the flower napkin, some tissue, just building it up, trying to make it so there's no hint of that ninja box. I mean, it was a fine ninja box, but it's time to become something else now. And I don't know if you can hear the thump, thump, thumping in the background. If you can, that is, or yes, that's actually both of my kids are outside playing basketball. So you may hear, I don't know how sensitive the microphone is, if you can hear it or not, but if you hear like a tap, tap, tapping or sort of noise, that's a basketball game in progress in the driveway. It's actually getting dark out. It's actually getting pretty dark out now. I had meant to put this video up earlier, but you know, sometimes the day runs away with you and you wind up doing things you didn't know you were going to be doing. But I'm here now. And this project took me a while. I did part of it, and then I actually put it aside. Like, I did the painting, and then I put it aside for a while. Then I came back, and so I kept like putting it down and picking it up. Oh, and that's some sewing pattern paper that I also got from Care in the package that she sent me. And that's super cool. Just touching it up. You know, when you're adding something and you're trying to figure out, when is it done? You know, did I add enough? Did I add too much? You know, you just kind of get to that point where all of a sudden you're like, okay, oh, look, I didn't let that red go. I decided it was just too much of a contrast, but not in a good way, when I would open it up and I would see that red, red, red. Now, if this was a Valentine's theme or some kind of red dragon theme or something, you know, it would be awesome. But just not really for what I was going for. So let's make it green. I'm like the fairies in Sleeping Beauty, only instead of pink and blue, I'm saying, make it green. The box is saying, make it red. And I'm trying to battle it and say, make it green. Going back and forth. So this is just some green tissue from Christmas time that I've been saving. And another napkin here. This is one of the napkins from Birdie. And I'm using water to cut out the shape that I want. Just a little water around and then some flowers in. Now see, this kind of red is fine. This is a nice soft red and it has some green and it blends in. So I'm just taking some leaves, taking some flowers. You see what I'm doing. And the inside is very textured because of the tissue. And I have to admit, as I worked on the inside, I wasn't 100% sure that I liked what I was doing. Like, I liked it better than the red. But I wasn't 100% sure. I mean, I was really just on the fly working on it and just hoping for the best. Even with the glue and stuff, I was like, I hope this works and it stays in there. And of course I ripped the paper in some places, but I figured that's okay. I can either paint it or cover it up with something. And I thought I would use this sparkle Mod Podge on the inside because it's supposed to be like treasures inside. And of course in this case the treasures will be napkins, which that might not sound like a treasure, but if you journal, it definitely is. Or, you know, not even just journal, but doing art, it's such a fun layer. And I never really used napkins before. This is like a whole new thing. But it's really cool how you can add a napkin to something and it sort of disappears into it. Not so much with the way I'm doing it here because I'm using the green tissue with napkin on top. So yes, of course you can see that, but if you put it on a white page, it just disappears. You just see the pattern. It's really pretty. And I'm adding some stickers, just some like PET stickers there, the clear plastic, just trying to make it more foresty inside. And I love the little foxes, but I'm not really sure if they went, but that's okay. Let's get these guys on the cover. These are my two little mushies, and we are just gonna stick those right on. And of course, I don't know why I tried to use a different glue because now I'm going to use the tacky glue. And even with this, I wasn't 100% sure. Here's just Mod Podge, regular Mod Podge, not sparkle this time. But even doing this, I wasn't sure if this was going to work because I knew I didn't want to. Oh, there's the sparkle. I spoke too soon. Sparkle Mod Podge coming out. But yeah, I didn't want them to get rubbed or ripped or anything where they were on the cover. So I figured I'd better cover them in some Mod Podge. And then this guy's going on the back. He's just chilling under his leaf. And he'll go on the back and hang out. That way there's a little something on both sides. And my rock is really great at weighing down my watercolor paper because it always pokes up. I use the tacky glue, but the edges always poke back up again. So the rock never fails. And then I decided I wanted to add a little silver. This is silver ink. silver India ink. And I thought if I put it around the edges, again, I was hoping it kind of added to both magic kind of effect and also an aged kind of effect. And I was really happy with the silver. I really liked how that came out. And this was another thing too. It was like, every time I thought I was done with this box, I keep calling it a box. It's not really a box, it's a case. Oh, and I thought I could make this look maybe less plasticky too. Make it look more like metal. I forgot what I was saying before. I think it was just about like, when is enough in a project? It's enough when you decide it is enough, right? No one else can tell you because everyone's level of enoughness is different. And I'm adding some silver inside as well because I liked so much how it looked on the outside. And I thought, well, maybe that's just the thing I need on the inside too. So I'm going around all the edges. And the other thing was I was just hoping this would still open and close, especially where I'm working on the middle in there where I was covering it with tissue and then I was painting. And I was like, gosh, I hope I don't do something. And then like it's stuck open, and then when I go to close it, it's like crack or something, but that didn't happen. It actually stayed nice and flexible. And then I'm just trying to put it in all the edges there, putting all the silver, well, no, not just the edges, I'm putting it everywhere. And it's funny too, because like I said, this is going to be covered for the most part on the bottom. You'll see the top, of course, but the bottom will be covered. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be decorated, right? Because at some point, hopefully I'll use all the napkins and then I'll have a little pretty something to look at. And this little guy's getting the Mod Podge treatment too, because I want to make sure he doesn't get scratched or bent or anything like that. We want to keep him flat if possible. And it is done. From Ninja Spy Kit to napkin holder. Here is the collection from Birdie. Look at that. Look at that. That's a lot of napkins. I went from like 2 napkins to a whole collection. So as I put them in, I will just show them to you so you can see I'm in love with this tea theme napkin. I love it. I love that Harlequin pattern, and I love the teapot. And birds, of course, birds from Birdie. Then these beautiful trees, which I love. I think I want to paint some leaves on some of them. And look at these guys, this ostrich. Those are so cute. I love the expressions. And Welkomen, that's welcome in German, right? I think. Flamingos. Very nice and summery. Those are really fun. I actually used one of those napkins the other day. I was making a little summer journal as I was creating along with Janet. Oh, and that napkin I love the green, very earthy. This is beautiful too. We have like a fence with some flowers along the bottom. And beautiful flowers, just lovely for spring and summer. This is really fun. I love that. This is what I mean. She found such a nice collection. Leaves, love the leaves, the ferns. Those are beautiful. And look at that maidenhair fern. How cute is that? A botanical illustration. And then we have a Minnie Mouse bow. That's perfect for one of my Disney trip journals, if I ever make it. Look at that. The script, the flowers. Love, 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 love that one. It's beautiful. And a cute little polar bear. Well, he's a big polar bear. But look at those toes. Those are so cute. I love the scribble toes. And a teddy bear. Love that. She is so sweet with her flowers. Who is she bringing those flowers to? And look at, I love this too. A swan and a hummingbird. That is so fun. And there's another one of those flowers, like the one that I used on the inside, a cute paisley napkin. There's such a variety there. It's such a nice... Oh, and here's the ones from Care now. So we have another napkin like the one I used on the front. And then we have, she sent me these fun fishy ones. Those will be perfect in the summer journal. And speaking of summer, we have these adorable watermelon slice napkins. And last but not least, Maleficent napkins. What a collection this is. I have so many and they fit in here perfectly. All I have to do is just tuck in some of the larger napkins just a little bit on the edge, and in they go safe and sound. And of course the clasp is a little bit tricky. It was even before I painted it, but it gets the job done. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Care and Birdie, for beautiful napkins. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Let me know if you are up to anything with your trash or recycles this week. If you are creating with them or using them, I would love to know. Until next time, I wish you the best, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.